Okay, this is Better Man by Pearl Jam. We're going to start by going over the chord shapes you'll need to know for the song. There's 5 of them, and then what we're going to do is put them together to create the verse and chorus. And then finally after that, we're going to go over some of the embellishments that he uses during the development of the song, and the end, kind of the heavier guitar stuff. And then we're going to play along with the whole thing. So let's get started. This is the first chord shape we're going to go over. Kind of an odd sounding chord, kind of eclectic sounding, and it's the chord that actually starts the song. It's called a D suspended second over an F sharp, because we have a D suspended second shape here over an F sharp note here. Kind of a big name for a chord, but sometimes these chords that get kind of funny, we have to use big names to distinguish them from other chord names. Okay, and how we approach this one is we're going to put our first finger on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. Second finger is going to come over to 2nd fret of 3rd string, and pinky is going to come to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and we're going to strum all of the strings with the 5th string actually muted. And the way we mute that is we just kind of hit it with the edge of our first finger so it can't make a sound. In the context of the song, he strums the bass note first, then these 3 notes, and then takes his pinky off. Something like that. Okay, so there's our D suspended second over F sharp chord. Let's move on to the next chord of the song. That would be D. Plain old D. And by the way, if you know these chords already, feel free to skip this part of the video and move right on to the part where I explain the song. I know a lot of you out there probably know how to play a D chord, an A chord, and a G chord and things. So you might be a little bit bored by this part, so just skip to the next part if I'm kind of beating a dead horse here and going over things you already know. So D, we're going to start with our first finger on the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret 1st string, and then 3rd is going to kind of work its way in between them to go to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and we're going to strum 4 strings for this chord. It should sound like that. So if your chord sounds like that, you're on the right track. Next we have A, which is a 3-finger chord. The easiest way to approach this one is use all 3 fingers as if they were 1 finger and let them press down on the 2nd fret 4th string, 3rd string, and also 2nd string. And for this one we're going to strum 5 strings. Should sound something like that. Next, the G5, which I'm sure some of you out there know already. 3rd and pinky are going to work together on the 2nd string and 1st string. 1st finger is going to come over here to 2nd fret 5th string, and 2nd fret is going to come to the 3rd fret on the 6th string. Now, if you want to find chord charts for some of these chords or need further instruction on them, Rock Guitar Power has a great open chord tutorial that Mike Deary hosts, and he takes you through all the chords that you need to know to play songs that have a lot of open chords. I tend to just take people through the chords that they need to know for that particular lesson. But if you'd like to have a comprehensive knowledge of all the chords out there, that's a good place to start. Okay, lastly, we're going to need to know an F chord shape. This is what I call the easy F, because it only has 4 strings to deal with, as opposed to the harder F and the hardest F chords. So if you look at a chord chart or look through a chord book, you may find 3 or 4 different variations on the F chord. They're all probably correct. just shooting for the easiest one here, and that's the one he uses in the song. And the way we approach this one is put our first finger over both the first string and second strings, second finger on the third string, second fret, and third finger on the third fret on the fourth string. And we're going to strum only the strings that our fingers are on. It should sound like that. Now in this song we actually take this shape and move it up a fret to create a different chord. This one happens to be called G. So since we have a finger on each string of this chord and there are no open strings, we can move the whole chord shape to create different chord sounds while maintaining the same finger shape. And that's cool. That's a pretty cool thing about this chord shape. Okay, so that's all the chords you need to know to play this song. Let's move along and learn the verse. This is the verse to the song. What I'm going to do is play it through for you once or twice so you can see what my finger movements look like in relation to the sounds that you're hearing. And then we're going to go over it note for note. So there it is a couple times through. Let's work on it note for note now. It starts on the D suspended second over F sharp chord that we learned earlier, and we're going to strum the lowest string alone. Then we're going to hit the fourth, second, and third strings, and then remove our pinky from the third fret. So we have low note, and then there's going to be a little slide up to what we call an E over G sharp chord, which is basically the same chord shape moved up to the fourth fret. So our chord progression looks like this. Okay, let's go over some of the finer points of the right hand picking now. Just keep your eye on my right hand in this part of the video. I've done my best to get a good camera angle so that you can see both a little bit of my left hand and my right hand, but my right hand is the main thing you want to kind of keep an eye on here. As far as the picking goes, we're going to start, as I said earlier, with the lowest string, the sixth string. Then go to the three strings, the fourth, second, and third. And as I take off my pinky here, you can see I'm changing the chord while I strum only these three strings. And we're going to do that twice. Then we're going to strum just the third string and slide our hand up. So what we have so far is slide, same chord shape, put your pinky back down. Then we have first, second, first, slide down. Again, that's first, second, first, third string, slide down to our original chord. So there we have the verse pattern. Next, what I'm going to do is demonstrate it for you with the music. Okay, here's the verse pattern along with the music. You may want to keep an eye on both my right and left hands as I play it along, so you can see how it all fits in. Okay, this is the bridge to the song. It's kind of like the second half of the verse. I like to call it a bridge, though, for teaching purposes, because the chord changes are separate and different from the changes we studied in the first part of the verse. This one is pretty straightforward. It starts on the F chord we learned earlier, and then moves to the G, which is the F chord moved up to the 3rd fret. And it does that twice. So again, our move looks like this. Let me go ahead and play it along with the music for you a couple times so you can see how it fits in. And you may have noticed there's a couple picked notes in there. Those are pretty random and largely improvised by the player. I've listened to this song on a couple different versions, live ones and this one, in order to kind of pick some common ground as to what the most common parts of the song he plays the same all the time. And the conclusion I came to is there really are none save the chord changes. He improvises most of the individual notes. So in this case, make it your own. Play whatever you want there, whatever you think fits well enough. Or if you're really ambitious, go ahead and figure it out note for note. And that'll be a really good exercise in ear training for you. Let's move along to the chorus. Here's the chorus to the song. Basically, this one is a D to A to G5 progression. And that's going to happen 3 times. And the 4th time, we're going to stay on A and then go back to D. Now, in this part of the song, once again, similar to the bridge or end of verse, depending on how you want to look at it, to the chorus, he's just kind of embellishing it by picking single notes here and there. The basic idea of this that I can go over with you is that he kind of starts on the D suspended 2nd chord, which is your D with your middle finger removed, moves to the D, and then there's an A suspended 4 in there, which is your pinky on the 3rd fret. And then you can pull off to the A. If you want to be a little bit eclectic and have an open string sound, you can take your 3rd finger off and add the B in there. And into the G5. So what we have here again is D to A to G5 3 times. And then on the 4th time we stay on A and go back to D. Let's play it along with that section of the song so you can see how it looks when I play it. And then we'll move on to some of the other parts of the song. Okay, this is the last kind of piece of the song that we're going to go over before we go over some of the embellishments. And this is a 1-chord piece of the song. It's the part where the song kind of builds up before they take it out. And it's only 1 chord. It's just G5. But I wanted to be sure to show it to you just in case you're a beginner. I wouldn't want you to get hung up and wonder what chord they're actually playing there in this part of the song. So it's a G5 and it's all down strums. Notice my right hand. So in this shot, you'll probably want to keep an eye on my right hand. That's why I took such a wide camera angle on this one for you, because that's where the action is. Here we go. We'll play it along with it to show you what I mean, and then we'll go on to some of the finer points of the song. And then, as I said, we're back to the chorus pattern to kind of take the song out. There we go. Let's go on to some of the embellishments that are found in the song. Okay, as the song progresses, you hear some electric guitars come in. To kind of build it and develop it a little bit. What these electric guitars are doing most of the time is just the same exact chord voicings we were using before. D, A, and G. And with a few embellishments towards the end. And I'm going to show you some of the ideas that the guitarist is using to kind of build the song along a little bit. Now, similar to the chorus part where we had the random picking, this is mostly improvised too. If you listen to a couple live versions of the song and try to come to a conclusion on the most common notes, that's kind of what I've put together here. It's not exactly to the recording that we're hearing because he plays it different every time. There's no point in really going note for note for note of this recording when it's just going to be changed if you listen to a live version anyway. So one of the places that he really tends to put in some cool licks is up here on the 10th fret, and what I'm doing here is similar to the F chord we saw down here a little bit earlier, just moved up to the 10th fret and cut in half, then embellished with your third finger on the first string, and I end up on the 12th fret here, and also the second string on the 12th fret. So you can see I can find some pretty interesting notes in there, and that should sound pretty familiar to your ears if you've listened to the recording closely. Next, when the chord progression moves to an A, you can approach this by using our same kind of chord shape on the 5th fret, and what he does is he slides into it from the 3rd fret, and then when we move to the G, he plays it here. So what we're looking at is a D chord played way up on the 10th fret, 5th, 3rd. And that's how some of the background electric guitar fits into the song. So now that we've gone over all the parts, let's go ahead and play the song along with the recording so that you can hear how it builds and starts and ends as you watch my fingers play it. And if you think you've worked up all the parts to speed, feel free to play along with me.